What's going on, everyone? So, we got some interesting news. The Houston Rockets are going with their normal rotation. They are playing their starters. Ime Udoka just confirmed that Houston is going full force against the Denver Nuggets, which is incredibly odd since they have the 2 seed locked up. They've rested everybody the last few games, and you're getting a week off. Like, why wouldn't you want the rest, right? Like, now, as far as what I saw, obviously maybe new information just came out. Literally, I saw the news and I just jumped on to make this video. It didn't say anything about like, oh, he's only going to play him the first half or anything like that. He said normal rotation. So if they're trying to beat the Denver Nuggets, it's really odd and leads me to believe that it's because of the Lakers. Now, you might ask, Tyler, why would Houston want to beat Denver for the Lakers? Because right now, Houston's the 2 seed, Lakers are the 3 seed, right? If Lakers and Houston win the first round, they play each other in the second round, right? Well, if the Lakers end up playing, the Warriors or Minnesota is a big potential, right? There might be this thought of like, hey, Lakers might beat them and run through them. Well, what about Denver, the team that has beat the Lakers the last 2 years? If Denver loses, they could fall to the 6th seed, depending on how the Clippers-Warriors game goes and Timberwolves end up beating Utah and all that stuff. So Lakers, if Denver loses, could end up playing them in the first round. Also, you could look at it as if you're Houston, if Denver and the Lakers play each other, we get rid of one of the teams that can beat us. Why else? You could argue rhythm to stay, so that way they can kind of stay in game shape, game rhythm, right? You're getting a week off anyway, right? Like, I know that they played Jalen Green. Maybe they only play their starters for, a halftime or something like that. It's a very real possibility. But even then, it's like, why? Like, why run the risk now to get hurt? You might as well just have played them the last few games, got the rest now, and then into the offseason, right? Why not just try to beat the Lakers and see that? Unless you're worried about, hey, if the Lakers beat us full-fledged again, it's not a good look, right? Lakers beat us again twice, start getting in your head, right? So, it'd be good to kind of sit our guys against the Lakers because they're going to bring their full starters. We don't want to kind of have our players thinking like, oh man, maybe we can't beat the Lakers, right? Like that's the team we just, that just has our number or whatever, right? But now all of a sudden, out of the blue, they're playing their main guys against Denver. There's a reason for that. And I don't think it's reps and all that other stuff. They're a young team that just running guns. They struggle offensively regardless. That's not going to change by getting reps in. Their style of play is very specific. They're going to have to create a playoff atmosphere and play their game, which is very hard to do because the playoff basketball, slows down, becomes more half-court oriented, which is why a lot of people think Houston isn't really going anywhere, right? Because their style of play and the reason that they've had so much success isn't really great in the half-court set, right? They want to kind of push the pace, play some defense, one of the best defensive teams in the league, just kind of create those turnovers, get out in transition. They're an incredibly young, athletic, versatile team, right? They just want to, use their youth and athleticism to their advantage. That's why they have so much success in the regular season. You see it every year. There's, a team or two that is just, you saw it with, Sacramento, right? Memphis a couple seasons ago, right? OKC in Houston this season, right? The young, just athletic teams that in an 82-game season, they're usually healthier. They're usually going 100 miles an hour. They're usually pushing the pace. It benefits an 82-game regular season where the playoffs really shrinks. Everything really shrinks. Things get really tight, right? The rim is not as easy because teams are making it such a point to protect the paint and close out hard on shooters, right? So again, you have to have good, competent offensive or half-court offensive action. If you don't have that, you kind of fall behind pretty quickly. And you play a team like the Lakers, who have Luka, LeBron, and Austin Reeves, three of the best players in our game as far as like half-court sets in action, and being able to get to their spots and shoot over the top and, generate offense. It's not a team you really want to play in the postseason. It's not really a team, especially when LeBron James and Luka Doncic, by the way, are two of the greatest playoff performers ever. Not just like modern time, literally ever. Right? Like Luka has like the highest average like ever. I think he's like right behind Michael Jordan, just like by a hair or something, right? Like, so if you're a team like Houston, also you might like the Denver matchup more than the Laker matchup, right? Because all you have to do is like just contain Jamal Murray, which you have multiple guys that can do that, and you match up better. Yeah, Jokic is going to do his thing, but you have the defense, particularly the perimeter defense, to kind of slow down Michael Porter Jr. and Aaron Gordon. Right? I just think they're a better matchup for Denver. Right? Denver I do think poses some problems, but Houston could be looking at it as like, we'd rather just kind of let Jokic go get 30 and contain everybody else than like we have to contain Luka, who can go give us 50, right? LeBron, who can go give us 50. Austin Reeves, go get you 30, 35, right? Like Jamal Murray, he's not been great outside of Lakers series in the playoffs, right? He's a guy that, just, again, look at his playoff numbers against everybody else and look at his playoff numbers against the Lakers. So you could be looking at it as like, also, Jamal Murray, he has his health issues and stuff like that. There's questions about him in the playoffs and things like that. So they could be looking at it as like best case scenario, Denver keeps doing what they've done the last two seasons in the playoffs, eliminate the Lakers, and then now we have a hobbled Denver team because that's going to be a juggernaut, and then we'll be able to beat Denver, and now we're in the conference finals. Or even the Lakers, it's like, who would be their toughest matchup? There is a genuine argument. It's Denver, right? Denver has owned them the last few years, if we're being honest. I do think that this is a very different team, and half the players on this team were not part of that previous regime. Also, our coaching staff is very different, but I digress, right? They could be looking at it as like, even if the Lakers do beat Denver and do handle Denver, it's going to be a rock fight. That's going to be a tough series and tough matchup, which I do think it would be. I don't think the Lakers sweep Denver or anything like that. I think that is a good, hard-fought series, but I could see Houston looking at it as like, man, if we can make these two juggernauts face each other in the first round, that could be huge for us, right? That could put us in a position to where now we can end up making it out. And then, a team like the Warriors, they have to play extra game. Like if they fall to the 7th seed, yeah, we might have to play the Warriors, but we match up well against the Warriors. We've played the Warriors well in the first round. They have to play an extra game. They're going to get more beat up. Like this to me seems like strategy on Houston's end. Let's try to see if we can avoid the Lakers. If we play the Warriors or the Timberwolves or anything like that in the first round, we like that matchup. We should be able to get out of that matchup. And then hopefully Denver and the Lakers have like just, gone at each other so heavy, so hard that ultimately leads to an easier series for us. Or again, Lakers get eliminated. Now we play Denver and, they're hobbled and Jamal Murray's hobbled and we're good. And, I think that this is strategy. I don't think this is like a reps thing. Like, oh, we're trying to keep guys having reps. Cause again, like you're getting a week off anyway, right? Or 5 days off anyway, whatever it is, right? They play on the 19th, I think is when the playoffs begin. But then even them, they have to wait for the play-in and everything to finish, right, and all that stuff, and then they'll get their matchup and everything. I could understand the argument, if it was, even then, like, because I would say, like, maybe if they were, kind of a more aged team, right, but even then, you kind of want to prioritize health. The problem is, like, do you really want to play this game and run, like, they're running a major risk, right? Knock on wood, I don't want to see anything happen, right? Like, you never want that. I want a good playoffs, right? Like, I want everyone 1,000%. I just want to see this gauntlet that not just the Lakers are going to go into, but just in general in the playoffs. I'm super excited for the Western Conference in particular playoffs. But, Houston, you're running a real risk by doing this just to get reps. Like, I get this is kind of the first year that this Houston team has made the playoffs. Last year they weren't. So I get maybe Ime Udoka's looking at it as like, okay, well, we're a young team that Now, it hasn't been there, hasn't done that, but you're probably going to have those hiccups in learning curve regardless. Right? You're probably going to have those kind of question marks regardless. I just think, it's probably in Houston's best interest to just rest guys. Again, maybe they only play them a quarter or the first half or anything, but also, is it something where it's just kind of, let's see as it goes, right? What if Houston comes out blazing and they're up 20 at halftime? And even if they do rest their starters, like the bench, they're a deep team, right? What if their bench is able to maintain that? Right? Now Denver ends up falling. Look, I'm all for the smoke. As for the Lakers, I don't care who we play. Bring on Denver, bring on Minnesota, bring on Golden State. I don't care. Whoever it is, I want them. I trust this Lakers team to beat whoever they face. Right? So it's not something where it's like, I don't want to play Denver. I would love to play Denver this time because I don't think I've ever been more confident against Denver than I am right now. Luka loves to play Denver. Loves it. I think Luka just shreds them. Our defense is better. Again, our coaching staff is better. Half the players on this team were not part of the previous regime where it's like a mental game where, the Nuggets are in the Lakers' head. No, like that those are days of the past. Lakers, this version, I think beat the Nuggets in probably, they're pretty dysfunctional right now, so I wouldn't be shocked they beat them in 5, but I think 6 is probably a safe bet. I think Lakers beat them in 6, but this is interesting. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. What do you think? Do you agree? Do you think this is like a strategic thing for the Lakers? Do you think no? How do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are. Either way, love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. If you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.